Is it almost time for us to start?
10 seconds, yeah, the mic's ready.
10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Good evening. Welcome to Sleep Time, really. We're here again, Dr. Labine and I. We have a interesting topic. We're going to talk about a different sleep disorder tonight. So it might be interesting for you to stick around and listen to this. We have email addresses, please. So if you have a comment that you don't want to call in, you can email us. If my director will bring up the email address. Email addresses. Director. If you want to call in, we'll get back to her. Dr. Labine's going to talk tonight about a sleep disorder called REM behavior sleep disorder. And it's a pretty serious disorder. And so I'm going to let him take it over. You'll probably hear from him mostly. There's the number. Call in. Please, call in. You know, you can always call me, and as I say every week, you can call me and tell me how messy my hair is. But call in, ask questions, make comments, anything you want to do that's appropriate about sleep disorders. So you want to start?
Sure. To start off, I'd like to distinguish the difference between waking up while in the midst of a bad dream, per se,
Okay.
and REM behavior disorder. The difference is the first example is a normal occurrence. So it's not a disease to be awakened in the middle of a dream and wake up frightened, scared, crying, screaming, what have you. That is normal. And usually if you're with a partner in the bed, you may wake up, sit up, screaming, upset, and then the partner says, "Hey, what's going on? It was just a dream. You're okay. What
Right.
were you dreaming about?" And then, they'll tell you what
The
the dream was
confusion
about.
generally dissipates,
It dissipates
after a few seconds.
Right, and then they realize, oh, I was dreaming. Oh, it was so scary. Let me tell you about it. I was dreaming somebody was chasing me, and next thing you know, they caught me, and then they go on. That is a normal occurrence.
Okay.
But the topic of tonight is REM behavior.
So the fact that I laugh myself awake from dreams or cry myself awake is actually normal.
That's normal.
Or I'll shout out something
That's
and
normal.
wake myself up, and that's
That's normal.
that's comforting to know.
Yeah, that's very normal.
Because I've been doing that for years.
Yeah, so that could occur at any given time in anybody, and that's a normal, occurrence. What's not normal is what we're talking about tonight, REM behavior disorder.
Okay.
That is a serious sleep disorder. When it happens in REM behavior disorder, the patient acts out the dream, literally. So if he's dreaming that he's being chased by a dog and he's running away from the dog, he'll tend to get up out of the bed, still in REM sleep, in dream sleep, and run around the room. Or if he dreams that he's being mugged by a couple of guys and he's fighting for his life, then all of a sudden, if he happens to be married, then the spouse may take a few unfortunate blows because
Wow.
he's in dream state. So in his mind, he thinks he's fighting some people who's trying to attack him. But then once he's awake and he looks and realizes what happened, and his wife may tell him, "Hey, what were you doing? You were hitting me, pulling my hair, whatever."
And he had no idea.
He has no idea that he's doing that at the time. It's only after the fact that the spouse may tell him, and then he still at that point doesn't realize until he possibly may remember the dream that he was having, and then it
Yes.
makes sense. He's like, yeah, I was dreaming that I was being mugged or whatever, and I was fighting in my dream, but I didn't realize I was literally fighting in my dream and acting it out. That's abnormal. That's REM behavior disorder because God made it to where when human beings dream, our bodies are supposed to go completely paralyzed.
Okay.
You're not supposed to be able to move a muscle in your body except the diaphragm to breathe. And that's basically the only muscle that's working, and your airway muscle to keep your airway open so you can breathe normally. Every other muscle in your body during REM sleep or dream sleep is paralyzed. And that's made on purpose by God because God didn't want us to act out our dreams because he knew
Right.
we would hurt ourselves or
Right.
hurt somebody else.
Right.
So when a patient presents with this complaint, then it's a treatable disorder. We explain the disorder to the patient and maybe the spouse if they're present. When I say patient, by the way, this is usually a male predominant disease. Women can have it, but overwhelming majority of these patients are male, usually middle age, but it's treatable with the medication that suppresses the REM behavior disorder. So it
But
successfully.
still allows them to have REM sleep.
Yes, but
Okay.
it suppresses the acting out part of the REM of the dreams.
Now, can you have an acting out of dreams where you just do it occasionally and it's not REM behavior disorder?
No, that's usually again what I referenced to earlier is if I'm having a bad dream and I'm getting afraid, while dreaming it, then you'll wake up in a startled response.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time you're not acting the dream out, you're just responding to the
To the
fear or the comedy or whatever of the dream. You just basically expressing your emotion. But that's different than literally saying, okay, I was dreaming I'm Spider-Man, so now you find the man literally getting up out of the bed and climbing the walls while still in
Or
sleep.
trying to climb.
Trying to climb the wall like he's Spider-Man while still asleep in the stage of REM sleep. That's REM behavior disorder. So it's different than responding, having an emotional response to a bad dream.
Yeah, but what I asked, now I'm just going to clarify for my sake, okay? So what I want to know is can you do the can you have a dream in the REM stage of sleep and act it out and not be the REM behavior disorder? Could you just do it occasionally and it just happen occasionally?
The answer to that is no.
Okay.
It can happen. It may not happen every night, and it may not even happen with every dream. But if it does happen at all, then that's the disorder.
Okay.
Yeah, because see, when we bring a patient, let's say, into
Okay.
the sleep center to do a sleep study to try to capture it on
Mm-hmm.
video and audio that we have set up at the sleep center, then that particular night that we may choose to bring the patient in to study them, it may not happen that night.
Okay.
So it's a hit or miss type of thing.
Okay.
'Cause it won't
So then
occur.
you'd have to bring them in and keep bringing them in?
No, it's just that, let's say if I'm having a sleep study on them to rule out another sleep disorder such as sleep apnea, then I'm not necessarily doing the sleep study to capture REM behavior disorder. REM behavior disorder in a sleep center setting is usually stumbled upon.
Okay.
Yeah, so the way we diagnose it is not by doing a sleep study to prove it. We diagnose it based on the history that the patient and the spouse may tell us that's been
Okay.
happening. And the spouse may say things like, yeah, he's hitting me, he's kicking me, punching me, but he doesn't realize it. And he says he's dreaming this violent dream or whatever, and now so that's how we arrive at the diagnosis. It's a historical type of diagnosis.
Can it happen once and never happen again?
That's very uncommon. Usually in that disorder, it's gonna happen again,
Okay.
eventually. Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing I'd like to mention with REM behavior disorder is, which you had brought up before the show, is it's also connected somewhat to Parkinson's disease, as far
Okay.
as the development of Parkinson's disease later on in that patient's life. Because usually the patient with REM behavior disorder may be in their mid to late 50s. Then let's say 15 years later, after being diagnosed with REM behavior disorder, 40% of those patients go on to develop Parkinson's disease.
Wow.
That's just an
Now
interesting.
that's a low number
40,
that you're giving. I read as much as 80%.
40 to 80%. That's right. And so
That's a
over,
high
that's a high.
number.
Even 40% is a very
Yes.
high number. That's almost like a flip of the coin that you're going to develop Parkinson based on that REM behavior disorder diagnosis.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's something about. No, it said something about Lewy bodies or something. I don't
Well,
remember.
That's in relation to dementia, which
Okay.
of course when you develop Parkinson's disease, a lot of Parkinson's disease patients go on to develop dementia associated with that. So that's kind of the connection too. And Lewy body dementia is just another one of a rather rare type of dementia, unlike Alzheimer's type of dementia
Okay.
or Parkinson's related dementia.
Okay.
And so there's different types of dementia. So that's why the Lewy body one was connected to the REM behavior disorder. But so you can develop other brain ailments later on in life after developing REM behavior disorder.
Okay. That's scary.
It really
But-
is very scary.
But doesn't it also open up the door for more effective treatment?
Actually, it does, because at least you can have a semblance of what may happen in that patient's future. So you can start making sort of, preparations for that in a way, as far as educating the patient and the
Right.
patient's spouse or the family and preparing them for the potential down the road diagnosis
Right.
of Parkinson's and
Wow.
what it is, how to pick it. And the helpful thing is it'll be picked up earlier.
Right.
Because
I
it'll be
was wondering
discovered
about that
earlier, so
too.
early diagnosis leads
Because
to
you'd
better.
almost be looking for it.
That's right, because you would be expecting it. So early diagnosis equals early treatment equals more stability of the disease long term.
Right.
So it actually could be a blessing in disguise in a way, and hopefully with more advanced treatment of diseases such as dementia and Parkinson's in the future, who knows, it may lead to earlier cures, based on earlier diagnosis, based on patients being more educated and knowledgeable about the symptoms, and once they start, reporting it right to their doctor earlier than later.
Right. Right.
So
Wow.
sleep disorders could sometimes be the window to other disorders.
Right. And I had wondered that when I got into this, how often the sleep disorders led to other things.
Yes.
Because when you talked about physical conditions getting better when a sleep disorder was taken care of, that showed me there was a direct relationship
Yes.
between the brain and the sleep state and our ability to deal with other conditions.
Yes.
So, I mean, have I told you recently how much better my diabetes is?
Wow, that's impressive.
I mean, my diabetes, I'm averaging in the hundreds now.
Wow. Whereas before you were in the 400s.
Four to 600s.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in the 4 to 600s. So now I'm averaging in the hundreds, which for me, I'm at 189. Shoot, that's wonderful. I'm thrilled when my number is 189, considering it used to run 480 to 620 averaged. So,
Yes, there's been many studies to look at sleep deprivation from multitude of reasons, and of course in sleep medicine, many sleep disorders will lead to sleep deprivation just in general. And sleep deprivation in and of itself as a symptom per se can aggravate many pre-existing illnesses in a person,
Yeah.
such as diabetes,
Well, I found
hypertension,
that.
yes, heart disease,
Yeah.
depression, just a multitude, a myriad of other illnesses will be negatively affected by a untreated sleep disorder.
Right. I can't wait to get the next test done and see how my thyroid's doing.
Yes.
Call in, please. You don't have to ask a question or make a comment about REM sleep disorder. You can make a question on any sleep disorder. We'd love to hear from you. Make it ring, make it ring. Our email addresses, if you don't feel comfortable calling in, email us a question or a comment, and we'll bring them on the show with us. Dr. Levine's is Levine Sleep Center at cox-internet.com, and let it stay up there long enough for them to write it down if they want to. I want to thank Harvest Bread for underwriting us at this time. They're over there on Kali Saloon Street across from the fruit stand. They have some wonderful stuff in there. They bake, they bake with 100% wheat grain,
Wow.
and yet everything they make, even their pastries, and they're wonderful.
Sounds tasty.
I mean, tasty.
And
My,
healthy.
tasty. Every time I go in to see JP, I get me a couple of samples and carry them out with me. But go visit them. See how good their stuff is. It really is. My internet, it's not quite up on the screen. Yeah, it's my email's not quite up on there. My email, it's cut off. It's halfway across the screen. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
My email is newstarrising21@gmail.com. So please, if you don't want to call in and you have a question or comment, email us, and we'll bring that to the table too. So we have a sleep disorder that could potentially do major harm to a person or their partner. What are the treatment options for this disorder? How is it treated? What is the
Usually, we use a medication called clonazepam, and what it does, it suppresses the REM behavior episode, the REM behavior part of the illness, and it does it very well. So it's very effective, and it works very well. Minimum side effects, but it's a very effective way to treat the disorder and to where the patient no longer acts out their dreams.
now correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be, but isn't that an anti-anxiety medication?
Yes, but it's also used in sleep medicine to treat REM behavior disorder.
Wow.
And it is. I mean, a
Wow.
phone call.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Carlton. Hello, Dr. Levine.
How you
Hello.
doing? Who's this?
My name's Randall, and I have a question about the REM or dream state.
Sure. What is it?
If you have a certain types of dreams, like saying falling off of a cliff or falling off or something, or another type of people chasing you, or somebody pursuing you like a series over a week or two, or let's just say like a desire that's not satisfied. You see good food in your dream, and you go into every time you go to get it, you wake up. Does that indicate maybe a certain type of physical ailment may be developing?
Not particularly. That sounds like some things that may be on a person's mind, and when they go to sleep, they'll eventually dream about some unresolved issues through dreaming. But that's more so dealing with just, dreams and what do certain dreams mean. When you have certain dreams, what is it affiliated with? But by no means is it a sleep disorder per se.
Well, that's relieving, because I know there's an old wives' tale to say if you dream and you're falling and you ever hit the bottom, you're going to be dead. You'll never wake up. Well, thankfully, I never was had the good fortune or bad fortune of proving or disproving that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that's not true, right?
That is not true, and it doesn't mean that you're going to develop some kind of illness based on a dream that you're having, or something will happen to you tragically based on a dream that you're having. That's just, that's more mythical and myths, but there's no validity to that in that manner.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank
You're welcome.
you.
Thanks for calling. Yeah, I've heard that before in the sleep center, and people ask that a lot. Like, what do these dreams mean, or what's their
Yeah.
call?
Well, it's cool that
Call back.
call back. I hit the right button. So somehow or another you got cut off somewhere else besides me, because I hit the right button. So caller, if you want to call back, please.
Yeah, I had a book once that was on dreams, but it was more so not really dealing in sleep medicine per se. It was just an interesting book on dreams.
Right, dream interpretation.
Dream interpretation. There
Right,
you go.
Right,
There you
right.
go.
But I don't mind answering those kind of questions here, because I mean those are things that we all grew up with.
Yes.
And things that we have that even as an intelligent human being and logic on my side, I still turned to you and said, is that right? Because we have heard from the time we could hear, don't, wake yourself up if you're dreaming, if you're falling, because if you hit the bottom, you're going to die,
That's right.
Hello?
Hello?
How you
Hi.
doing?
Who's this?
This is Cherie. Who's this?
This about Dr. Levine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is Miss Juanita Sam. I just want to tell him hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
I'll see you tomorrow.
You don't have any questions?
Bye.
Hey, you got to ask a question, Juanita.
I was just concerned. I just turned it on and I was just curious to find out. Tell him hi.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good night.
Is that one of your girls?
Yes. No, that's
Oh.
one of my patients.
Oh.
That's why she said, I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Cool. Any other callers, please call in. Call in. So, see, we don't even mind answering those kind of questions. Oh, Dr. Levine don't mind answering those kind of questions, because I'm going to turn around and ask him too. Is that
That's
true?
right. Is that really true?
Now I have been dreaming that I was falling and fell off the sofa. but I woke up before I hit the floor.
And caught yourself, huh?
Goodness, no. But
that
like
really
the
was
other
happening.
caller, I never was there to prove or disprove it. It never happened that way.
That's right.
But that's a scary feeling, though. It really
is.
is. Because when you're falling in a dream and then you wake up actually falling, that is a real disconcerting sensation.
Yeah.
Because you're in the air and you don't know how far you have left to fall.
That's right.
And you don't know what you're falling into or whatever.
We just got the
So-
2-minute warning, by the way.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, so we have.
We're down to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That's cool. This was a
It was
good
a fun show.
Yes,
Yeah.
this was a good show. So, email addresses real quick again.
Okay, so,
Dr. Levine's, please email if you have a question or comment, Levine Sleep Center at cox-internet.com. I had to catch my breath there. Mine is, I don't know why mine isn't coming up on the screen all the way, but mine is newstarrising21@gmail.com. Feel free. Our credits, thank you to the Great Harvest Bread Store for underwriting our show. Thank you guys, thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll be back, I will be back on, oh shoot, the what's 2
Second.
weeks from now?
22nd.
22nd? I'll be back on the 22nd. Dr. Levine won't be here, but I will be here. I will plan on sharing and going over the 4 sleep disorders that I have and talking about them and encouraging you to call in and share experiences you've had with your sleep disorders. So that's it. Good night. See you next week. Next time.